Imagine walking into the Colosseum in Rome. The year is 190 AD. The crowd is roaring. You expect to see gladiators fight for their lives. But instead, the emperor himself steps into the arena. And not just as an emperor, he's dressed like Hercules, lion skin over his shoulders, a massive wooden club in his hands. This is Commodus, and he wants the world to believe he is not just a man, but a god. Setting the stage, Rome in Commodus's time, the late 2nd century AD. The Roman Empire is enormous, stretching from Britain to Egypt, Spain to Syria. But with great size came problems: wars on the borders, political rivalries, corruption, and a restless population. Commodus inherited the throne in 180 AD, after the death of his father, Marcus Aurelius, often considered the philosopher emperor. Marcus Aurelius wrote meditations on virtue, self-control, and wisdom. His son, well, was the opposite. Where Marcus was serious and thoughtful, Commodus was impulsive, showy, and obsessed with being adored. Commodus, the Hercules emperor. Commodus didn't want to just rule. He wanted to be worshipped. He declared himself the living reincarnation of Hercules, the mythical strongman hero. He wore lion skins and carried a club like Hercules. Statues of him dressed this way were put all over Rome, not just one or two, but hundreds. You couldn't walk anywhere in the city without seeing Commodus staring back at you, muscles carved in stone. Some ancient writers even say he renamed months of the calendar after himself and Hercules. Imagine, instead of July or October, you'd have Commodus month or Hercules month. The gladiator-emperor. Here's where Commodus really broke tradition. Roman emperors sometimes watched the games in the Colosseum. Commodus wanted to star in them. He would enter the arena in front of tens of thousands wearing Hercules' costume. He fought gladiators, but not in fair fights. His opponents weren't allowed to hurt him. Sometimes he fought wild animals, lions, bears, even an elephant. But records say he often killed them from a safe distance, with arrows or spears.
Think that's weird? Subscribe to see this mess get worse.
The crowd was forced to cheer, because who dares boo the emperor? But imagine being there. Everyone whispering, "Is this guy serious?" One source, the historian Cassius Dio, says Commodus killed hundreds of exotic animals in a single day. Another story says he once decapitated an ostrich and strutted around the arena holding the head, a twisted joke meant to scare senators sitting in the stands. The people versus the sources. But can we trust all of this? Our main sources on Commodus are Roman historians like Cassius Dio, Herodian, and the Historia Augusta. Here's the catch. Most Roman historians were members of the elite, senators, nobles, the very people Commodus humiliated. So, of course, they painted him as a monster. Did he really kill all those animals? Maybe exaggerated. Did he fight in the arena every day? Maybe not as often as the stories say. But what's clear is that Commodus shocked Roman society. To the senators, he wasn't a god. He was embarrassing. But to many ordinary Romans, he was entertaining. And remember, he ruled for 12 years, much longer than many other emperors of that period. That suggests at least some people supported him. A dangerous personality. Commodus was paranoid. He trusted very few people. He surrounded himself with favorites who told him what he wanted to hear. And like many emperors before him, he survived several assassination attempts. Eventually, he began to see everyone, even his own family, as potential enemies. The empire suffered. While Commodus played Hercules in the arena, the economy struggled and corruption exploded. Grain shortages, plague, and constant bribes drained the treasury. The fall of Commodus. In the end, Commodus was brought down not in the arena, but in his palace. In 192 AD, after a series of conspiracies, his closest advisors feared for their lives. On New Year's Eve, his wrestling partner, a man named Narcissus, strangled him in his bath. He was 31 years old. The Senate declared him a public enemy. Statues were torn down. His memory was officially erased. Yet ironically, those same historians who hated him kept writing about him, making sure we never forget him. Why Commodus matters. Why should you today care about Commodus? Because he shows us how power can twist a person. He also shows how image and performance, cosplay in a sense, can become politics. Commodus blurred the line between entertainment and government. Sound familiar in our modern world? And he makes us ask, was he truly mad? Or just a master of spectacle, centuries ahead of his time? Final reflection. So next time you see a movie about Rome, or you walk past a statue of Hercules, remember, there was once a man who believed he was that hero, an emperor who killed lions for fun, who forced Rome to worship him as a god, and who turned politics into performance art. Commodus, the emperor who thought he was Hercules, remains one of history's strangest rulers, a reminder that power, image, and ego can reshape an entire empire.